Buenos días. Disculpen ante todo, or good morning. Sorry. We're being a little bit, we had a lot of problems with technical problems, so we changed a little bit of things, but here we are. Thanks for your patience. So we are going to share with you a little bit about our work here in Peru. So here's
I am Ruth
Ruth and me, Ursula Valdez, and Ruth Torres.
Torres.
We're here from Hacienda Herrera-CECCOT in the Peruvian Rainforest in southeast Peru. And we just came back from the field about an hour ago where we were trapping birds and we're doing some research in this area. But we want to tell you a little bit about our project, on how we ended up uh, working together. So, Danny, can we put the presentations? And our apologies, we needed to do a little bit of plan B in this situation. Um, Sometimes things happen. So, thank you so much for your help understanding that. So, Danny, can you share the presentation,
Sure.
please? Thank you. All right. So here we are in Peru, and we're southeast Peru. Next, please. And we are talking to you from like this little area in the circle in southeast Peru, as you can see, part of the big basin in the Amazon rainforest. So our area, next, please, is a little bit more. You can go next. It's just a little bit like zooming. Next, please. And this is an area with Amazonian rainforest with like different kind of habitats that go from primary to secondary forests and to like very distinctive habitats like palm swamps that are pretty common in this part of the Amazonian rainforest. Next. Um, Peru and the Amazonian region have like a large diversity of species of mammals, birds, and amphibians. Next. And we have some really amazing species in this area. So tapirs, caimans, giant river otters, capybaras, jaguars, a lot of those things are still living in this place, in this cold region of Madre de Dios. Next, please. I want to talk a bit about the birds.
And we are one of the best places about biodiversity. Just in Madre de Dios, we find more than 600 species of birds identified.
Mhm.
And one of the most popular, or we have the RP eagle, we have a hoatzin, band-tailed manakin, and the agami heron, really close to our station,
To our
just
station.
in
Mhm.
Tamopata National Reserve, and another kind of owls.
Next, please. So, but the problem is that if you have heard about all the wonders of the Amazon rainforest, like the Amazon is in high danger. Lots of forest is lost every year, year after year. It's the trend. And Brazil, Bolivia, and Peru are the places that they lost most forest due to agriculture, cattle ranching, fires, and much more recently about a lot of like human going into the forest and just developing for expansion for human settlements. So next, and Peru is actually one of the places that we still have good amount of forest, but unfortunately the trend into disappearing is happening much faster than we can. And in particular, Madre de Dios, so this is the region that we are right now working. One of the big things is not only illegal logging, but one thing that it causes a lot of habitat loss, but gold mining extraction. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to talk too much about gold mining extraction today, but you should read about it. And I just showing you in this picture how contrasting could be. In the right, you have forests and well-preserved areas in this region, and next to it is all the results of gold mining extraction. We completely transformed the habitat. Plus next, plus causing a lot of issues associated to mercury. Gold is distracted with mercury, lots of health issues associated to that, water pollution, and then it gets a lot of other issues associated to human exploitation, illegal operations, and more conflicts with conservation. So next. In one of the other thing is that obviously not only alters the environment, but it's also causing a lot of really critical social impacts on a lot of people in there. So next. So one of the things, can you go maybe like 2 or 3 slides faster, please? Yeah, I talk over. This is just one. There's obviously a lot of the problems in the Amazon are happening, and so we need to kind of do something. And obviously, some answers come right away. We need to decrease deforestation. We need to reduce the human impact on the forest. We need to do something, right? But the thing is that all of these are solutions are in paper and they are like with good intentions, but we're not working fast at the pace that we need. And we think that education is really critical in this aspect, especially working with like younger people, you're working with people who are actually going to make a difference sooner rather than just waiting for all these other solutions that require political decisions, more of like the power and all those things. So next. So you want to talk a little bit about our project. So years ago.
Yeah, I started like a volunteer. I was a local student of ecotourism here in Tambopata, and I met CECCOT, and I start to take another vision about the jungle than where I grow it. And now I understand many things, and I can start new strategies for conservation the place here, and just talk with the farmers to do maybe a sustainable system to grow the food now, because this year all the people are very afraid about the problem of the food, no, around the world. And we need to start to grow our own food again. Yeah, but you have to know the sustainable systems, no? For example, agro systems, and not just a monocultive, because in our case in Madre de Dios we have a lot of people now making wanting to grow the cacao, but
Chocolate.
to sell the chocolate. But we can mix this kind of plantation and do a sustainable system, no? And at the time have a sustainable product, sustainable cacao seeds, and to grow another kind of food like plantains, another food kind of trees that we can mix and have a good business and a lot of food for us, no?
So one of the things that is important is next put, and so you'll see a picture that this is Ruth Young years ago, and as she was talking about sustainable alternatives, let's move a little bit faster on this. Unfortunately, we ran out of time already, but the one thing that it happens is go one more. There you go. So I met Ruth years ago. As she mentioned, she was a student, and with some friends and colleagues of mine, I'm a biologist, I'm a tropical ornithologist. One of the things that we did is that we were very interested in monitoring the local fauna, especially in birds. And that one thing was like associated to this changes in the community, changes, I mean, in terms of the rainforest, changes on relationship to human impacts. At the same time, next, we were interested in go one more, please. Interested in training students who could like not only recognize the diverse amount of birds that we find in the area, but at the same time providing training opportunities, and as Ruth mentioned, having the opportunity to have sustainable livelihood. So we create CECCOT as a nonprofit organization who will work on getting information about birds in this area. And we have a little bit of numbers here based on what we have so far recorded as a research effort, which we're doing as we talk with you guys right now. We have people in the forest. We came back about an hour ago, as I mentioned, collecting data and actually exactly what in these pictures are. Next picture. And one of the things that is really interesting is to see, actually, we're gonna give you a couple of examples of what are the birds we see and with the kind of things that we have learned. So for example, this is a band-tailed mannequin, and we found there's information about this species in other primary forests, but we've been able to find them in secondary habitats here in our site. They're frugivores. They're really interesting species for mating strategies in which the males are extremely like colorful and very showy, and they do this incredible displays where the females are not colorful at all, but at the same time the females are the only ones who take care of the babies once after the mating happened. So we've been able to collect information on this in this region associated to a lot of these species of birds, which I wish we could be able to show you more, but let's go quickly over the pictures just for you to know a little bit about the species. So Bantail Mannequin, Amazonian Mudmud we saw this morning, musician wrens, which we possibly are going to trap in among these 2 days. Next, this is one of the ant followers. It's in the ant bird family. Really interesting life history and natural history of species. Next, and we have things that we are evaluating birds in different seasons. So we get a lot of kingfishers when the forest is flood. Right now we're in the dry season. So keep going, please. Yeah, we needed to have a little, keep going. We need to have a little bit and keep going. There you go. Let's stop in there right before, one slide before. So we've been, one slide before, there you go. So one of the things that we've been doing as researchers is trying to document the local avifauna. What Ruth was mentioning is that engaging with the community, working at the local level, it also has given us an opportunity to learn more about the impacts of different activities that occur in the forest. So one of the important things about our work is that we were able to partner with Ruth, that she and her husband now started as volunteers for this research initiative. But then later, when they learn more from us and also the university, they also have a family. In this case, we have Pepe and Vilma, who are the patriarch and matriarch here, who have a little bit of land that they use for sustainable agriculture, but also they protect an extensive amount of land. So we were interested in knowing like the impact of their own small scale practices in the bird populations. And that's what we've been doing. If you have heard about coffee that is friendly to birds. I'm kind of spacing in the word. We're trying to do something similar with cacao and bananas. And what we say that Ruth explained that cacao now, in a lot of parts of the Amazon and in many places of the world, it happens that when something is in a boom of like chocolate or coffee or coconut or whatever it is, that it becomes trendy, then people try to start planting all of that, making these huge monocultures. And that's kind of the crop that is going to make money temporarily because they're destroying the forest with no views on the future. What we're interested in saying is smaller practices that provide, yes, opportunities for family, for sustainable business, but at the same time that it provides habitat to birds. So we've been learning a little bit about this species. We're being in the process learning about some different techniques on how to, certain kind of mix of, as Ruth was mentioning, mix of crops that they could provide habitat for birds. And we're finding really interesting things that unfortunately we cannot share all the results today. This is just a snapshot of what we're doing here. But really interesting things, like, we can find like 43 species that we have found in just 10 hectares of mixed forests where cacao, bananas, and many other native species are growing. So next. The other thing that is really cool is that as we learn with the students and with researchers, then that provides opportunity for Ruth and her family to use that information to provide a service to visitors who come here. Ruth and Kenny and the family now have a lodge that they use for their own livelihood and source of income, but they follow this philosophy that we use the forest to our benefit, but also sharing it with the rest of the species. So here's Vilma, who processes the cacao and then does possibility in a very small scale to share it, serve it to their guest in the lodge, but at the same time we are using the land to learn more about birds. And as I'm telling you, we don't have a connection. The internet doesn't reach the forest inside, but there right now, about 20 people learning about the birds in the cacao plot. Next. So the other thing, yeah, maybe you can go next. Just keep going. And I don't know, we have, yeah. So the one thing that is being really important, it's staying there. That's good. Is that this is good. Is that has given us this all these activities from the past, almost like now 8 years, have give us the opportunity to, first of all, empower youth, people like Ruth, who started us very young and just without a college degree, with very little opportunities in the city. Now there are more actually, but they build their own future with the training that we provide and the things that we learn from each other. It has informed a lot of our activities and conservation, also to be part of this collaborative. We learn what's happening here. I'm not from here necessarily, but we're learning together, and I'm very interested in the research and the conservation. They're interested in the conservation and the sustainable livelihoods, and together we're working for that. There's more opportunities now. The center in this site as a biological station and as an ecolodge has become a little bit of a model for how sustainable things go.
And the first school.
Yeah. And that's the next. I'm going to talk about that's next, and I think we have. So now this is a picture of how beautiful this place has become. Yeah. We're very sustainable. Yeah, talk about that.
We start to open our place because we are one of the pioneer family in Bajo Madre de Dios community. We start with this project in alliance with CECCOT to get the students to make our course from the last times in other places and start to work together and just start to learn more about our forest, more about our plantation and many things that we are doing now. And this is a photo of some of the facilities in our place.
Mm-hmm. And you can go next.
The next
probably.
One, please.
Yeah. And so this is kind of like one of the things that really gives me a lot of pride is that those students who at some point were just volunteers, nowadays they are managing their own business and they're our, partners in this. This is going to be something that Ruth and Kenny, her husband, and the little Tiago are building a future together, and not only building a future for them and for Tiago, but also the great thing is now is the time for them training others. You want to talk about
we have a big goal here because in our community, we are the second generation and we are like a model of business, of sustainable land. And all the neighbors are looking what we are doing, what happened with the camera traps, what we are doing with birds, what we learn, and we share all. And we start to work with the forest school. That's an amazing work because we have a son and we have many kids to the other side to the river in the rural school who visit our place, who learn with us about all the work. And we have a program of volunteers from the university, our university, and we train these students to work with us, to share the ecological information to the kids, to the other people in town, to be conscious, to be conscious, to have the same opportunity like us to grow in the jungle, because now we have a lot of children who never go to the forest, who never heard about capybaras, about tapirs, what kind of animals we have in Tambopata. That's a really interesting thing, and we are really conscious to work together, in a community. And with CECCOT, we have an amazing opportunity to meet people from other places who can share, who can learn with us, and to make that interchange.
Exactly, the exchange of information. So the other thing that Ruth and Kenny have focused is on providing not only obviously the opportunities for other people, but grow as a business in ecotourism and very respectful to nature. There's a lot of things to say about ecotourism. Not all nature tourism is ecotourism. This is the goal that we're trying to do, very respectful, supporting not only people who live in those places near the reserves, but at the same time, taking people to learn in there, but in a very, with very low impact. So You want to go one next, and then maybe we're going to try to the forest school next. Well, just one thing that go back one, sorry, and then we'll just go a little bit faster. One of the things that we're obviously very focused on birds, but as Ruth mentioned a little bit about camera traps, we're also doing monitoring other wildlife, and in particular mammals. So we have a whole set of camera traps where we got like really amazing things from like pumas and jaguars and jaguarundis, a species that normally you'll see in a much more pristine forest. We're getting, it seems that potentially there's areas where we live close to, even that are close to people, they may be acting as a small refuges, or maybe, animals go to those places too. So we're trying to understand that. So go two more quickly, and let's see, try to keep going. Ruth, talk about this. Go one more back, please. Sorry. Go back a little bit. One of the things that is really important is that sustainable living is, she mentioned about this. The food that we eat here is growing here. We mostly do vegetarian food. If I would have had more time to explain one of the main causes of habitat loss in the Amazon rainforest is because of the cattle ranching that was highly extensive in Brazil and in this area. So we don't eat meat, for example, but we use a lot of other things that are growing inside and then locally by the neighbors or by other parts and other food in the regions that we can share with people. And people get surprised about this. Let's see. We have many opportunities to participate in our programs, either as anyone who want to come visit Ruth, and they will put all these programs for adventures and knowledge and everything for you. Or you can also work with us as a researcher or as an educator. Go one more, please. And let's see. Let's go to next. This is the family, including some of the staff. We have training programs. We have all these different opportunities to come and visit as a researcher, but also as a person who just want to come visit and enjoy nature. And I think let's go one more. One thing that we're gonna use 1 minute extra to tell you is that we didn't have the pictures in here, but a big project for us is the forest school. Ruth referred to that. We have area that we put to service for kids and people who want to learn about anything in the forest. So we do a lot of activities in which kids from schools and people from several parts of the world would come and learn outdoors in the forest, and not only about the forest, but many other things that you can connect with the forest. So I think we're going to leave it in there for now. In terms of our presentation, we apologize again. We needed to do a lot of modification today because we have a little technical problems. But if you have questions for us or you want to know anything else, Denny, I don't know how many more minutes do we have, or we are over.
We have 7 more minutes.
Oh, okay, good. So if anybody wants to ask some questions or comments to us, any feedback. Mm-hmm.
So until someone asks some questions, maybe you can tell them what your plan of the day is.
Yeah, so
everyone feel comfortable to start asking questions in the chat, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so if anybody has a question, well, we are gonna have breakfast soon because we're up since 5 something, and then we were in the forest, and then we did this, and then we're gonna go back to the forest to see and help with the data collection, and we'll see what other birds we can have. I'm sorry again that it's being a little bit kind of a spotty presentation. We had a really cool presentation from the forest and a lot of things for you, but for some reason it's not working. And so we kind of came up with a little backup plan. Yeah, so Krista said, what impact did COVID had in your programs? Thanks for that question. It was tough, and maybe I will leave it to Ruth to answer that next. But the one thing I want to say is that I'm here. I got here a few days ago after almost 3 years. After, I couldn't come during the pandemic. The research has been delayed, but there's been many other impacts that that are being much more, hard. Ruth will talk about that.
About us, the family, I think both no bad and good impacts, because we come back to our place again. We start again with many things. We have more time to do anything, and maybe for the projects we have some problems with equipments. Yeah,
The
at the
equipment,
moment,
we
yeah,
couldn't, no, the equipment will arrive. There were no flights to bring a lot of things that we needed. Yeah.
yeah, probably that one.
Yeah. And then for their business, that's something.
Yeah, we are starting, but we have enough time to look more about the more activities because
There's some costs passing by. Just
and maybe for the local people start to hunting. Yeah, we saw a lot of people around hunting, go to the forest for hunting.
yeah.
Probably that was a problem, to talk with the people, but we understand they need to take some food. We are looking for food,
Yeah, it's something that it also, obviously COVID affected like the health of many people that who couldn't come. We couldn't send things. Some people got sick, and then the tourism activity was pretty low. And we had, they had an impact on their own family economy too, because there were not visitors, and that was kind of a one main thing. Fortunately, has picked up again, and yes, anyone. So let's go to the next question. From, will you be publishing your findings? Yes, we want to. We don't have still enough data. We just started that. We started the project right before the pandemic, and now we just restarted like 3 days ago. And so, yes, we would like to. We still need a little more data, but yeah, we definitely want to share this experience with all of you. Yes, anyone can visit. Yes, you can come as a tourist, and you can search for Hacienda Herrera. You could also look at we're going to write the websites for both of Hacienda Herrera and CECCOT. You can read a little bit about us and just get in touch with us and with Ruth. And you can come again as a visitor just to do it. It's an experience completely different to like many other tourist experiences. This is a much more kind of like being part of our community rather than a tourist per se. And then the other thing that is pretty important is that you come as a visitor or as a researcher with a completely different experience of what normally, if you would be in any other CECCOT Peru, that would be for you. So yes, and especially if you're a researcher and you have ideas, we're so far focused on birds and mammals, but we still need many more things to be explored on. So plants, insects, anything. There's space for anything. And also in our educational activities, if people are, interested in education and outdoor education, also can come to work with us. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so we share so Hacienda Herrera is the family business. CECCOT is the nonprofit that I represent. Ruth represents Hacienda Herrera, but we both partner into like maintaining the place as a biological station, and also as kind of a alliance that provides all these opportunities together. Yeah. Well, we're about to go over the time. So we really appreciate your presence today here. Muchas gracias a todos from all these different countries.
Thank you so much, and please visit Tambopata if you don't know this amazing place. We wait
Come
for
here.
you.
We can share you a little bit of where we are right now. And I wish we could take you to the forest, but if you come and contact us, definitely we will. And Krista knows all of that. So thank you. Yeah, thanks for visiting. Thank you, Danny, for all your help. And bye-bye.